Welcome to the Student United Way Google Hangout. My name is Lauri, and I am the lead associate for Student United Way. And we have three extraordinary student leaders here to share some ideas and advice. And so I would like to introduce each of them. We have Anna Reyes here from the Student United Way of Anderson University. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
And she just won the Student Leader of the Year Award for the 2013-2014 school year for the Student United Way Awards. So that's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then we have Eric Dolan, who is the founder of Student United Way at William Paterson University in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi. Good afternoon. Late morning.
Yes. And then we have Kelsey Nelson, who is of the Student United Way of Arizona State University. Hi, Kelsey.
Hello.
And ASU just was named Campus Organization of the Year for the Student United Way Awards. So lots of amazing ideas and things to come with them. So thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, this is cool. Thank you.
Awesome. So I want to start with some questions about specific projects that you've done. And hopefully this can get some ideas going for other students. And if you guys want to respond to each other, that would be awesome too. So Anna, I want to start with you. I want to find out a little bit about a project that you've done that maybe wasn't as successful as you originally hoped.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I wanted to do something for our group for every single month and have a theme for each month. And so February, we wanted to do something that related to Valentine's Day. So we did the Love Project. And I wanted to do something that related to love, but wasn't necessarily about relationship love. It was about caring about the people around you. And so this project was just a pay-it-forward idea of going out into the community and serving one another, and then that person would go serve another person. So we tried to start this on campus and have it kind of be a ripple effect.
Awesome. And so you mentioned that there was not as much excitement around the project maybe as you had hoped. How did you deal with this, and do you have any thoughts on future years of maybe doing something like this?
Yeah, well, this was our first year doing it, and I was really excited about it, and the rest of the group was really excited about it, and so we tried to exhibit that excitement around campus and get other people excited about serving their community, and then having the people they served continue serving the other people around them. And I think that it was a fun idea for everyone, but getting people to actually go out and do something can be harder than you think at first. So trying to get our entire student body and then all faculty and staff to participate in this was quite the project, and I think that it being the first year and people maybe didn't necessarily understand what we were doing, that kind of made it a little more difficult.
Yeah. So if you were to do the project again in another year, do you think you would do it? And if so, what would you change about it?
Yeah, well, I would hope that this would be a tradition that is started that keeps going for years. And I think the more momentum that it builds and the tradition that it builds, that people will begin to understand it more, and hopefully that the city will see the effects of that and understand what it means when we serve each other.
Awesome.
That's cool. Cool.
Thanks for sharing. So I'm going to move on to Eric, unless either of you guys have anything to add.
That's awesome. I mean, I hope as well that the city latches on. That'd be special.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it could be a really cool effect if people can grasp it and understand it.
Yeah.
So Eric, I reporting from the bomb shelter down there.
Yeah. Sorry for the the terrifying quarters.
No worries. So I know you have done some awesome things with your Student United Way, which you started after you went to alternative spring break. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, down in Biloxi, Mississippi, and I guess it was 2012 or like the my freshman year, so like 2011, 2012. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you came back a little fired up, and you got your
Yeah.
Student United Way started. Um, would you share a little bit with us about a project that you've done that has been rewarding?
Yeah, well, like when we had first sort of became a club, I wanted to do something that was both easy to do physically and easy for people to wrap their minds around. So not necessarily a new idea, but maybe a new approach on an old idea. So we wanted to do a book drive, and so instead of just trying to raise books, we called it the Starting Line Book Drive, and the idea of it was to both educate people and obviously collect books for donation. But the whole education point stemmed out of that starting line title, which was we had gotten this like data received and stuff that showed that children in Paterson, in the city really close to Wayne where I go to school, weren't even technically starting on par with students who were in more affluent neighborhoods. And so we wanted to bring them up to the starting line, so to speak, and we hope that these books and these donations would get them to that point. And so the idea itself was really cool and like progressive, and we were, as we were collecting the books, we were imparting this sort of information, and so the campus started to realize that there was something happening, and they did a used book sale in like one of the annexes of our college, and unbeknownst to me, someone who had just joined the club went to the person running it and was like, hey, like, you guys have a ton of children's books, and I'm sure you could turn like a really small profit on it, but do you think that you could maybe donate some of them to us and donate them, to this, Starting Line Book Drive? And they were like all for it, and I had just gone to classes that day, and again, this is like 3 weeks into us like being a thing, and I got an email from this guy who ran the library and was like, hey, like, we have 600 children's books that are boxed up and ready for you to take to wherever you need them be taken. And so it was really cool because it was educational, and then it obviously had this really great benefit. We gave them, directly to students and hospital waiting areas within Paterson, and then at the same time, it was like a bunch of near complete strangers totally helping me out and helping the club out, and when we were this new novel thing, so it was cool and extremely rewarding because I can't really see where the books are now, but I can only hope that they found, and like there's that freak encounter where you just get a book that somehow fosters like a lifelong love of reading. That's what I hope, and so I mean, hopefully that's what's happened. At least someone somewhere who didn't have a book before got one, and that's awesome.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
So that seems to show a lot about how much value there is in just asking, even when you don't think.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, especially if you have something that's like worth asking about. Like, it's one thing to like ask for like stupid things, but when you have like a real beneficial, socially impactful thing, it's incredible how responsive people will be, because it's not that difficult. They weren't going to do anything with those books anyway. They would have made a minute amount of money on them for a sale that was already making plenty of money. So if you can sort of show people the social value for what they're going to do, and show that it's through something like United Way and some sort of credibility, then they're generally all for it.
That's awesome. Do you have a book or a few books that have had that kind of influence on you, that have stayed with you throughout your life?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like, I'm trying to think more kids' books, because these were kids' books. Obviously, book like Catcher in the Rye or things like that. But I mean, the first kids' book, like, I was all about Encyclopedia Brown. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but the premise is he would solve mysteries for 5 cents in like his driveway, and I thought that was the most novel thing in the world. And he was always smarter than all of the cops, and he wasn't even on the payroll. So I'd say Encyclopedia Brown, totally. And we actually got a couple of them, which was pretty cool. And I will admit I took one, but the rest of them went.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Eric. Okay.
I love how passionate you are about all of it. I can just tell that even from this video chat.
Yeah,
so
it was
I really
cool. It was
that.
special, and it's not even like it's just. I feel like I've relayed the message and the stuff, but that really was another thing. Was I do comms, so I do broadcast or whatever, so I kind of know how to talk and stuff, and that people generally reciprocate well to it, and so it was cool that someone else had asked to get the books, because it wasn't just me doing it. It was cool that someone else had felt that way, but I obviously super appreciate that, and that's that's the whole point. That's why we're doing it. It'd be really cool to get even more people on my campus to feel that way.
Yeah.
It also speaks to the way that people bring their different skill sets, and maybe you, with your background in broadcast reporting and stuff, and being a great speaker, can bring that into talking to people about what Student United Way is, or why to participate in a certain event, or to create that energy and convey that passion.
Totally, yeah, that's huge. I mean, there's only so much that I can do physically, but if I can speak well and I can in regards to the starting line thing, even just an idea like that, and map it out for people audibly, and give them a passion, or show them the possibilities of what they could do, then that's way more hands and way more energy, and then it works.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to Kelsey, who has the Student United Way at Arizona State University, has done amazing things this year, and that led them to, of course, becoming the Campus Organization of the Year. I would love to hear about your relationship and collaboration with your local United Way.
Of course. So we have a great relationship with Valley of the Sun United Way. They've been nothing but supportive since the beginning. Our advisor actually works with Valley of the Sun United Way, so it's easy to get in touch with them. They're always welcome. Recently, this past spring, we kind of backpacked onto one of their events already. So a bunch of ASU students got on a bus one morning and went over to the Valley of the Sun United Way and put together weekend hunger backpacks. So basically these hunger backpacks, they're just bags technically, go into a backpack of a student, and they take them home for food for the weekend, because most of these kids are eating the free lunches from school. So when they get home on the weekend, they have no food. So these backpacks give them the opportunity to eat. So we got there, and the staff at Valley of the Sun United Way had already known what to do, so they were great on telling us what we were going to do, what these backpacks were going for or going towards. So instead of listening to more of us speak, more of the students speak, they could hear the staff speak about what the Valley of the Sun United Way does and where the food is going, and how helpful the volunteers are being, instead of just listening to us again say, oh, this is great, where they can actually see that there's an actual structure, in Phoenix that's working towards these things that the students are working towards.
That's awesome. Has your Student United Way benefited, or also from and benefited your local United Way? Has it been a relationship in which you've grown and they've grown?
Yeah, we're there. I feel like I'm there a few times a year, listening to advice or things that they've done that have been helpful for there, because they have Generation United, which is a young adult group that does different events throughout the valley. So we listen to things that they've done, and they definitely ask what has been beneficial for ASU and Student United Way, and asked our opinions on things so they can work towards, growing their different organizations within Valley of the Sun. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does anyone have anything to add so far?
That sounded cool. It's nice to hear when it works out like that, and you can help them out, and then it's more hands for them, and then it's valuable experience for you, and then you're also helping people. It's cool when everyone can benefit so much from something like that.
Yeah, it's been nothing but good, and I definitely recommend, if you haven't reached out to your local, or even just asked for a quick conversation, not necessarily working one-on-one if you can't, but just different questions. They're always more willing, totally. Extremely willing to answer anything.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I'm glad to see that has been a really healthy relationship between you two. So I also want to ask each of you if you have advice for other student leaders around the country and around the world. So let's start with Anna. what would you say to other student leaders?
Yeah, sure. Well, this goes along with my project that we tried to do at Student United Way. You know, we really wanted it to be successful, and like I said, we were all really passionate about it, but it didn't necessarily work out the first year the way we would have liked it to. So I would just tell anyone going into this position that it's okay if you fail, you know, like run with your creative ideas, especially if you have the budget to do so. That's always nice. But try something new, because you never know how it's going to impact your community differently from maybe what it is right now. And so seeking out those needs and being able to recognize those and saying, you know, how can we change this, and really feed off of the other people in your group. I know I loved coming up with ideas, but I definitely did not always have the best idea. And so being with people who can tell you, you know, logistically that's not going to work, or saying maybe this would be a better idea. I think it's so important to be that community in your group and be able to have those conversations.
That's awesome. Yeah, failure is so important. Eric, what would you say?
Well, I'd sort of like piggyback off that, at least in the beginning. To have a group around you, like you had said, so I can talk well, but I can't email. Like, I hate keeping up with things like that, and when we would have to put in for money and stuff like that, it's just not a thing that I just get so frustrated so easily. So to have a core group of people who aren't graduating at the end of that year and who are willing to commit the same time and energy that you're willing to is obviously huge. But I think personally the thing that I wish that I had known going into and didn't have to learn the relatively hard way was setting sort of like tangible goals. And that's like really difficult to do if you're idealistic and you want to shoot for the stars. And when I started, I was like, oh, well, naturally the entire city of Paterson will be turned around within the span of 3 to 4 weeks. But like the reality of it is like I learned come even just the second semester that having a understanding that at times, regardless of the frustrations and regardless of what's going on, if you could, we do like a weekly tutoring thing. If you could just do one small thing during there, either one caring act or spend quality time with one kid, and then maybe the rest of it is a nightmare, maybe they're screaming, maybe it's, as long as you find and highlight one thing every time you either go out or volunteer, you're with people or at a meeting, one sort of like tangible, if that is the goal, and very tangible enough, like one really good, caring experience every time you're exerting energy towards Student United Way, it's extremely rewarding. And I think that would be the big thing, is like, it's not all going to happen like that. Like it's a process, and you have to learn how to reflect and realize how important things have been. And I still need to do that time to time. Like I'll save letters and stuff, and whenever I'm feeling relatively dejected or anything, I'll go through and be like, yeah, like, you know, we did make an impact, because it's not like a thing you can measure. It's all very like erythral, and like, so it's nice to know that you did, and so that would be the most advice probably, or the most valuable that I've learned.
Awesome. That is super valuable. Thanks for sharing. And Kelsey, what would you say?
I would say play off the strengths of your different executive members or even club members. A lot of the connections we've made are through other members. So if a member is in another club, then we can connect with their club and see what they're doing and work together so it's a greater impact. Or even the different majors, like people who are, like finance majors. A lot of the finance majors are really well doing like appropriations, where I wouldn't have a clue how to do any of that. So I think just playing off the strengths of people and what they're interested in, other than, you know, Student United Way. Like there's a lot of people in a dance club, so we work with the members there to raise money, doing like a dance marathon raising money thing. So I think just finding out like what they're interested in and what their strengths are and what they know, and like networking basically.
Awesome. Yeah. Pulling on the strengths of your group and of yourself. That's great. Thank you all so much. This has been a really great conversation, for me at least, and I hope for all of you. And if anyone watching is interested in starting a Student United Way, we have our official guidebook as kind of the go-to starting point, and you can download that at unitedway.org/guidebook. Also, for anyone interested in just more ideas and resources and inspiration from all these amazing student leaders and amazing projects that are going on, you can browse our web at unitedway.org/student, and also contact us at student@unitedway.org, and that is for any reason, or if you just want to give a shout out or tell us a story. And so thank you so much to each of you for sharing, Anna, Eric, and Kelsey. I so much appreciate it, and your Student United Ways have great things in your future, as do each of you.
Thanks, Lauri.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.